In the previous video, we have added some styles in our web page. Like we have added a drop shadow under this text. But I want to go beyond of this. I want the text intellectually elegant to be more stylized. And for this, I will use a web font. And look at the text. This simple font does not suit these words. So for this, turn off the live view and let's come to the CSS designer panel and select the style, and in the style you can see all the selectors, and in the selectors take a look at the logo and you can see that a hash number is before logo text, and this is because of we have used this logo text as ID, and the nav, header and the section are the tags in the HTML5. But another thing I want to show you here is the class. We'll create a class here and then we will apply that class around this text. Okay, so let's come to the selectors and then click on the plus sign, and in the plus sign you can create a new tag, a new ID or a new class. Remember that an ID starts from a hash number and the class starts from the dot. So I'll enter here a dot and then I'll create a fancy class for the font because I'm going to use a fancy font for this particular text. So I'll hit the enter, and then here you can see the properties of the fancy class, and in the properties click on the text, and here you can see the properties of the text. We want to change the font and then click on the font, and then here you can see some predefined fonts, but I don't need these fonts. I will add a new web font. So select the manage fonts, and here you can see some fonts which are present in my device, but I'm not going to use these fonts because these fonts may not be present in someone else's device. So I'll go to the local web fonts, and in the local web fonts you have to select the font, and you can see here some formats of the font. The mostly used format is the TTF or true type font, and I have provided you all the files. Let's open the WOFF font type. So I'll click the browse, and here in my first website in the fonts, and here you can see the WOFF font file format which I have provided you. Just select it and all other formats will be automatically selected because I have also provided you the other files, and then check this button and add this font and then click the done. And now let's come to the properties of the fancy class, and in the font family just select the font which we have recently added, and I will select it, and this font has been declared in the fancy class, but I have not applied this class around this particular text. So I will choose this text, and in the properties panel at the bottom of the Dreamweaver window, make sure the CSS tab is selected, and in the targeted rule here you can see the fancy class, and this should be here. Just select it, and you may have noticed that the font style have changed, but this is not the original font. Let's go to the live view, and here you can see the original font which is looking great, but it looks like that the font size is small. So we can change that. Just come to the selectors and select the fancy, and in the properties panel, and here you can see the font size property. Just change it to pixels and then increase the pixel size to be like here. And I also want the color of the whole text to be white, and for this select the heading 1 tag in the selectors and change the color from red to white. Hit the enter key, and here it is. Now let's turn off the live view, select this text and go to the code view, and here it is. In the heading tag, the fancy class has been applied across this text.